Ladies and gentlemen, the feedback I've gotten from the teleport pedal has been out of control. And it was also brought to my attention that I moved very fast with my one-shot unedited video, and people have a ton of questions about what the thing does and the details about it. So there's a new page up at teleport.guitargate.com that we worked on overnight that'll go through all of the details, and I'm going to continue to add them as I read your comments. And I'm going to make a video every day leading up to Black Friday showcasing the things that it does, the innovations that we made, and why we did what we did. First up, this thing is really just the simplest, most easy to use looper that you've ever used. And there's a few main reasons why your looper feels like magic. This can be best explained by showing the looper I've used in every single one of my course videos, this old school Boss RC3. Now, all of this overwhelms me. I've never used a single one of these features, but it's always felt like magic when I used this pedal. And it wasn't until I went to make a loop pedal and I realized why it felt like magic. Number one, there's only one foot switch. If you have one foot switch and you want it to do multiple things, you gotta press, you gotta double press, and you gotta hold, right? That means that it doesn't know whether you're double pressing, holding, or single pressing until after you actually press it. So there's going to be a many millisecond delay. So what that means is when you go to make a loop, right? I'm playing and then it's done and I have to double tap. It's actually on the release of the second tap, not on the press of the first tap. For those of you that have dittos or whatever, it's got one foot switch, okay? It only knows whether you held, double tapped, or single tapped until the release, and then a certain amount of milliseconds have to go by, and then it says, oh, the recording is finished. So unless you can play it, unless you can make it exactly on the press and not on the release, it's always going to feel like magic. It's always going to feel like luck. That's the problem. And so what's the solution? A dedicated foot switch that all it does is recording and stop. We don't put any extra functions on this foot switch. You press to record and you press to stop. That's it. And so what happens is you remove that multi-millisecond delay. It's pretty great. The second thing, no one plays in time. So wouldn't it be great if your loop pedal had a drum machine or a metronome? And some do, but do you have a count in where it snaps to the grid? So if you are playing to a click and it times you when you come in, okay? And then when it comes out, and you combine that with precision looping is what we call it, where it's on the press, not on the release, immediately making loops becomes effortless. Now I have this iPhone on this teleporter on my desk, and I'll show you. So in the future video, I'm gonna show how it's multi-tracks and you can do the different ins and different outs and how to connect to Wi-Fi and how to share it. Right now, I just wanna show the looper. Step one of the looper is we have drums at the bottom, which we can hold this to turn on or off. Drums off, drums on, right? So I have a metronome set at 160. So if I play it, this is what it sounds like. Okay? I figure out what I'm gonna play. You know? Okay, now I go to make my loop. I press record. It's gonna give me the count in. I'm gonna play it, and then I can reach over, and since the metronome is going, and I'm not even doing this with my feet, I can press it in time, and as soon as I press it on the click, it's going to make the loop perfectly in time and snap to the grid. Effortless. Check it out. Now, what if I want to speed it up or slow it down? Okay. Now I can change the tap tempo, or I can switch over to the BPM, right? Right? I can make it real slow or super fast. And there you have it. So we're going to go over more features in the future, okay, in the next video. But that's the main reason your loop pedal feels like magic and that you can never get it right. It's because it's actually on the release and not on the press, so you can never actually stomp and have it be right on the beat. You have to plan for it. You have to get used to it. And two, you don't have a proper drum machine with a metronome with a count in that then snaps to the grid. You combine those two and you get what I call precision looping. It's very simple, but I've never had a loop pedal that was easy to use. And you watched me just do it with my hand on the table, not with my feet, and it was perfectly in time and simple to use. And that's the goal of everything we do at Guitar Gate, and especially with Teleport, is to make things simple. It's got to be simple, and it's just got to work. So again, please click the link in the description. Go to teleport.guitargate.com for more information. Please enter your email if you want to be notified first to get one of these on Black Friday. And keep an eye out for the next videos. Next one, I'm going to talk about all 4 channels, and then we're going to go into how you can share it, and then what you can do if what you make becomes a shareable file. Cheers.